I came down the wire just after midnight, coat collar high, hat brim low, walking past the dead neon of old breach forums and the fresh blood on the ransomware boards. The week in question, May 30 to June 6, 2026, sat in front of me like a locked door with no keyhole, no live feed, no verified leak site scrape, no fresh Telegram chatter, no warrant-safe forum pull, just a date on a calendar and a warning written in red ink: do not fabricate. That matters down here. In the digital underground, rumor is cheap liquor, easy to pour and hard to survive. A fake victim name can move markets. A false ransom claim can smear a hospital, a city, a school district, or a supplier already fighting for air. So tonight's dispatch starts with the first rule of this rotten district. If you cannot verify the body, you do not chalk the outline. But the streets still talk, and their old patterns leave fingerprints. The gangs worth watching this week, and every week, are the ones that built their trade on repeatable crime. Lockbit's old empire took a hammer blow in Operation Kronos in 2024 when law enforcement seized infrastructure, obtained decryption keys, and turned the crew's own leak site into a public humiliation board. But ransomware is a weed in broken concrete. Affiliates scatter, brands rebrand, operators rent new hosting, move to new panels, and try to convince the market they are still dangerous. Any claimed Lockbit successor activity in 2026 would need hard proof, such as a live victim post, cryptographic sample, negotiation transcript, or infrastructure overlap. Black Cat, also known as ALPHV, left another kind of stain. Before its collapse and exit scam allegations after the Change Healthcare attack in 2024, it showed how far the business model had moved. Rust-based ransomware, double extortion, data theft before encryption, public pressure on victims. Affiliate recruitment in the same rooms where access brokers sold VPN accounts and domain admin footholds like stolen watches. When ALPHV stiffed an affiliate after the Change Healthcare ransom saga, it was more than gang drama. It was a market signal. Affiliates learned not to trust the boss, and the boss learned the affiliates could take their trade elsewhere. Akira, Play, Black Basta, Ransom Hub, Hunters International, Medusa, Chillin INC Ransom, Bienlian, Risida, Chillin INC Ransom, Bienlian, Risida, Kill Up and 8-Base are the names I would keep pinned to the corkboard. Their targets have cut across manufacturing, healthcare, education, legal services, local government, logistics, and managed service providers. The entry doors are familiar: phishing that drops loaders, stolen credentials bought from initial access brokers, exposed RDP, VPN accounts without multi-factor authentication, abuse of valid remote tools, exploitation of edge devices from vendors like Citrix, Fortinet, Ivanti, Cisco, and Palo Alto when a fresh bug turns into a skeleton key. The tradecraft has become meaner and cleaner. A crew does not always need to encrypt every machine now. Beyond Leon shifted heavily toward data theft and extortion after decryptors disrupted its locker. LOPBSET made a fortune by mass exploiting file transfer systems, including Moviet Transfer in 2023 using a vulnerability tracked as CVE 20233433343336, then leaning into extortion at industrial scale. That was not a smash and grab, that was a conveyor belt. Find the vulnerable system, steal the data, name the victim, set the clock, and let lawyers, insurers, regulators, and executives sweat under the lamp. The malware families and tool chains tell their own bedtime story, if your bedtime is in a gutter. Cobalt Strike remains a favorite when cracked copies are available, though defenders know its scars. Sliver, Brute Radal, and legitimate remote monitoring tools have also been abused because they blend into the office noise. Quackbot, TrickBot, ICID, Bumblebee, and other loaders have fed the ransomware machine over the years, though takedowns and disruption have changed the supply chain. Living off the land remains the reliable pistol in the ankle holster. PowerShell, SecSec, WMI, Remote Desktop, AnyDesk, Screen Connect, Atera, and stolen VPN sessions can do plenty of damage without a flashy payload. Down in the forums, the economy is less like a marketplace and more like a smoke-filled auction room where everyone lies, but the ledgers still matter. Initial access brokers advertise footholds by revenue, geography, sector, and privilege level. A listing might promise VPN access to a manufacturing firm, Citrix access to a healthcare network, RDP into a law office, or Okta credentials tied to a cloud tenant. The good listings mention domain trust, backup visibility, EDR vendor, user count, and whether MFA is present. The bad ones are bait, recycled logs, or law enforcement traps dressed in cheap perfume. Ransomware as a service has been changing because the old landlord model keeps attracting heat. Big brands bring big police attention. After Lockbit and ALPHV took public damage, affiliates had every reason to diversify. Some moved to smaller crews. Some joined groups like Ransom Hub, which rose in 2024 as a haven for displaced affiliates and opportunists. Some simply stopped caring about encryption and focused on pure extortion. Steal the mail, steal the contract, steal the patient file, steal the payroll, then threaten publication. It is quieter than detonating 1,000 endpoints, and sometimes it pays just as well. The underground is also chewing on info-stealer logs like a dirty bookmaker chewing number slips. Redline, Raccoon, Vidar, Llama, Metastealer, and similar families have made browser cookies, saved passwords, session tokens, crypto wallets, and cloud credentials the new street currency. One infected home machine used by an employee can become a side door into a corporate SaaS tenant. A stolen session token can bypass a password reset. A personal device with synced work credentials can give an attacker the first warm handshake before the real break-in begins. Law enforcement has not been asleep in the squad car. Operation Kronos against Lockbit, earlier action against Hive, the Quackbot disruption in Operation Duck Hunt, and continuing Europol, FBI, and partner activity have shown that infrastructure can be seized, decryptors can be recovered, and actors can be named. But takedowns do not end the racket. They raise the cost. They sow distrust. They make affiliates wonder whether the panel they logged into last night is run by a boss, a rival, or a badge. In this business, paranoia is not a side effect. It is the weather. What it means is simple, and it is ugly. The ransomware world is not one kingdom anymore. It is a crime neighborhood full of crews, brokers, loaders, data fences, negotiators, and washed-up operators wearing new masks. The brand on the ransom note matters, but the path in matters more. Watch the edge. VPN appliances, file transfer tools, remote access gateways, identity providers, and unmanaged internet-facing systems are where the first cigarette gets lit. Patch exploited vulnerabilities fast, especially those in the CIS Unknown Exploited Vulnerabilities catalog. Put MFA on remote access, but do not stop there. Watch for token theft, impossible travel, new device enrollment, and suspicious OAuth grants. Defenders should build for the part of the movie where the lights go out. Keep offline, immutable backups, and test restores before you need them. Segment networks so one stolen credential does not become a skeleton key. Monitor for mass archive creation, unusual use of rclone, Mega, WinSCP, FileZilla, and cloud storage tools, alert on PCXec, WMI lateral movement, abnormal PowerShell, remote desktop fan-out, disabled security tools, and sudden access to backup servers. Collect logs from identity platforms, EDR, VPN, DNS, proxy, and cloud control planes. And when a leak site claims a victim, verify before you amplify. In this alley, even the graffiti lies. So that is the week as I can tell it without dressing rumor in a dead man's suit. No invented victims, no phantom ransom demands, no fake takedown parade, just the map of the Badlands, the names on the doors, and the methods they keep using when nobody is watching the lock. I am Jack Cipher, heading back under the wet neon, past the brokers, the bot herders, and the men with fresh domains and old sins. The underground never sleeps. It only changes masks before dawn.